Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. So let's continue our EDA session. In our last class, we understood how to clean any dataset. If your raw data has any errors or any structural problem, then we have to clean the dataset. Okay. We also understood what is the difference between a dirty data and a messy data. And if in your data set there are some missing values, then it comes under dirty data. You remember all these things? Now in this session, we are going to understand if your data set has some missing values, then what can we do with those missing data set? First, we have to identify the missing data. Then either we can delete those rows where there is any missing value, or we can replace the missing values with any other values. Okay, so we are going to learn all these things in details. First, I have taken a data set. This is a small data set where there are some missing values. None means missing values. Okay, now first our job will be to identify the missing values. Let me first show you the data set. So you can manually see that this is a missing value, 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 this is also a missing value. But when you have a large data set, you have to identify whether there are any missing values. If yes, then how many missing values you have. Okay. So first, to identify the missing values, I can write tf5 dot each now. Okay. So you can see that false means this is not a missing value. There are some values. Not missing, not missing, not missing, not missing. True means this is a missing value. See here. See, this is a missing value. False, no missing value. Here is a missing value. See, missing value. Okay, so you understand that I want to know whether the value is missing or not. Here it is saying, no, it is not missing. But here it is saying, yes, it is missing. So you can understand that your dataset has some missing values. Clear? Now, these things we can do in other ways also. Like if I write df5 dot each null. Now see, same output. Or suppose if I write df5 dot not null. That will show me whether this is null or not null. See here, it will show you exact opposite. Here I want to know whether the value is not null. Here it will say yes, this is a not null value because there are some values present here. Let me show you the data set. You will be able to compare well. If I write df5, okay, some values are present here in the index id column. Okay, that's why true. Here, see in grade, here is also a value present, so it will be true. No value present, so it will be false. So you get my point. The difference between not null and is null is exactly opposite. Is null means I want to know whether there is a null value. So that's why the output is no, there is no null value. Here I want to know whether the value is not null. Yes, the value is not null. Okay, simple, just exactly opposite of each other. By any of these function, is null or is null or not null, you can identify that whether your dataset has missing values or not. Okay. Now I can see that there are missing values. But I want to know that how many missing values as per the column. So I can write is null dot uh, sum. Now if I run it, see these are the column names. From here you can see that 0 that means no null value, 2 null value, age 2 null values, name 2 null values. So here you can see that in grade column, two null values, in age column, two null values, in John column, two null values. Okay, I can also write df dot info. Here also you can see info means it will it will give you the complete information about the total data set. See, these are the column names, ID, grade, age, name. Here you can see total 5 entries. That means every column must contain 5 values, right? But here see, total 5 values, non-null. Because in the first column, ID column, there is no null value, okay? But you can see in grade column, there are 3 non-null values. That means 2 values are missing. Let me show it to you. BF5. See if I run it, you can see in grade column 2 values are missing because here there are 3 entries, total 5 entries, but 3 values are non-null. That means 2 values are null, so these values are null. In age column, same, 2 values are missing, 1 2. In name column, Same, 3 present, that means 2 are missing. So 1, 2. Fine. So from info function also you can understand how many values are missing. Okay. So now you have discovered that you have some missing values. And some will give you total missing values. Grade column 2 missing values, age column 2 missing values, name column 2 missing values. Clear? Now what can we do with the missing values? We have found that there are some missing values. But what will you do with them? We can simply remove them. Okay. Now suppose if I want to delete those columns, so I can write drop now. Drop now is a function which will show you only that row where there is no missing values. See the first one. Let me show it to you dataset again. If I run it, see only the first row there is no missing value. That's why it is showing us the first value. Okay. But you can see that this is showing an output. That means the change is not permanent. So I have to make the change permanent. I can do it in two ways. If I write df6 equals to df5 dot drop now. Now if I write df6, now let's see. Okay. So all those rows where there is any missing value has deleted. Only the first row is left because there is no missing value. Okay. So this way you can make the thing permanent. Okay. This is one option. And the second option is, let me first delete this one. And if I write df5 dot drop now, that means I'm in the last state. Okay, now I want to make the change permanent. This is not permanent. Let me show it to you that this is not permanent. See, because whenever you can see the output, na, there is no permanent change. Here you can see that there are some missing values. The data set is like before. Okay, now I want to change it permanently. So I can write in place equals to true. If I do this, and see there is no output. Whenever there is no output, the change is permanent. If I run it, df5 has been changed. Clear? So in place equals to true means that I am instructing you, please change that and make it permanent. Don't return any object. Instead, you change it in the dataset itself. Okay, you get my point? Now suppose in some scenario you don't want to delete them. Maybe you have a smaller data set, or maybe other values are very important. Maybe small number of values are missing. There may be many reasons where you don't want to delete that. Instead, you want to fill them. So how can we fill them? How can we fill the data set where the values are missing? First let me take that old data set. Here if I paste, and let's explore the data set again. Okay, so there are some missing values, and I want to fill those missing values. So there are many techniques to fill them. We will understand one by one. See here. First, we can fill them by mean or median or mode. You know three of them. Mean means the average value. So if I want to fill the age column by the mean value, then I have to make the average of them, and then I will fill these two missing values by the average of mean value. So I have to write df. I want to calculate the mean of this age column. So df age dot mean. Now what is the mean value? 5. 30. So 30 is the mean value. Now I want to replace these NaN values by 30. So I want this age column to be filled with 30. So I have to write df5 age column dot fill now. Then I will fill this using this one. So if I write it here, and now if I run it, see this has been filled. Okay. Now if I check df5, what will be the output? What do you think? See, there is no change because I told you can see the output. That means the change is not permanent. So I have to write comma in place equals to true. Now see what happens. See, no output. Now let's check here. Okay, so you have done your job. Age column has no missing values. Okay, so we have understood the concept of mean. But sometimes, depending on how your data is distributed, whether normal or skewed, right skewed or left skewed, depending on all these things, you may have to select whether mean or median is best for filling the missing values. Okay, but whatever it is, we have understood how to fill it with mean. Same way, we have to fill it with median. So let me first bring the data set because we are changing That's why I have to copy paste. But if you want, you can create a new data set by creating a copy of this data set. Then also you can make changes. Okay. But here I am just, our aim is to understand the things. So that's why I'm not creating any data set. DF. But when you are working with a big data set, just try to create a copy of the data set every time you make any changes. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. DF age dot median. Now if I run it, I sorry, median spelling mistake. Okay, same value. Mean value, median value is same here. That means normal distribution. Okay, anyway, now if I write DF5 and I want, first let me show you that there are missing values. Okay, now suppose if I want to fill up that age column with median values. So I have to write dot fill now. Fill is a function which fills with the given values. Here I will give these values. That means whatever the median value is within fill now bucket. It is passed as a parameter. Clear? Now if I run it, you can see the output. So the change is not permanent. So you have to write in place equals to true. Now if I run it, fine. Now if you want to check DF5, okay. Or if you don't want to give in place equals to true, then also you can do it, keeping it within another data set. Okay. Anyway, our job is done. So we have filled it with either median value or we can fill it with mean value also. Fine. Now suppose I want to change the value of grade. I want all those missing values to be replaced by the mode value. Mode means which is occurring most of the times. Though here A is occurring once, B is occurring once, C is occurring once. So if I write df grade dot mode, so you can see that um, most of the times, actually only three times, A is occurring once, B is occurring once, C is occurring once. Okay, but you know what is mode? Mode means that those values which are occurring the most number of times. Sometimes you may get that two values are occurring most of the times. Two of them are coming first. It's like that. Both have same roll number. Okay. So in that scenario also you may face this problem. So I can simply select the first one, the zeroth index, the first one. Okay, now I want to fill these missing values with this mode value. Fine. Same way, I have to write df5 grade dot fill na, and I want to fill with this value. So if I just write comma plus equals to true. Now if I run it, see the change is permanent. It will be filled with A. Clear? The missing values are filled with A. The same way, you can change the values in name also. You can fill up the missing values. Okay. Now, suppose I want to create a category called nan. I don't want to replace them with any value. Instead, I want a separate category named nan. Nan. Okay. So now let's see. First, let me bring that old data set. This one. Because I want more missing values. Where I have filled up the values. So now, let me show it to you again. Fine. There are some missing values. I want to create a category for them. Okay. So how can I do it? If I write df5 dot fill now, I want to create a dictionary. Grade I want to be filled with nan value. Okay. Now the age column, age I want to be filled with -1. This is also like there is no value. And next is name. Name I want to fill with uh, unknown. Okay. So in every data set, I'm not changing or I'm not replacing the values with a good value, but I'm replacing it with some other values. Like here, this one will be shown as nan. In age column, it will be shown as -1. In name column, it will be shown as unknown. Okay. Now, suppose if I run it, Now, see here, the values has been filled in grade, nan, age column, minus one, name unknown. Okay, so you are not deleting, you are not replacing with mean median mode, but you are replacing it with your own given value. Nan value, minus one value, unknown value. So you are creating a category of them. Okay, these are also you can fill up the missing values. But here also the change is not permanent. If you want to change it permanently, you can store it to some other data set. Create df6 equals to df5 dot fill now. Okay. Now if I run df5 again, you'll be able to see the old data set. Now if I want to replace this value with forward fill and backward fill method, that means I want the missing values to be filled up with either the last value or by the next value. Okay, let me show it to you. Df dot again fill na function, but here there is a parameter called method. In method, if I write f fill, now if I run it, it will be error because again df5. Now see what happens here. There is no values, but filled with a because it has taken forward fill method. F fill means forward fill. Okay, here also 30. Here it will be Bob. See. Clear? Now suppose if I try to fill it, the change is not permanent. So I have that old data set. So no problem. I can simply write fill now function method equals to backward fill. Now let's see what happens. Let me show it to you df5. You will be able to compare. See here, this is a none value, but it has been filled with B. This is a none value, it has been filled with C. Here it is a none value, but it will be filled by 35. Backward fill method. Here it is not filled because it is not getting any value after this column. Next here John none value, it will be filled up by Alice. Okay. Here it will not be filled up because same problem. Okay. So you can fill by forward fill method or by backward fill method. So you have to use A fill or you have to use B fill. Okay. So we have understood how we can delete, how we can replace with mean value, median value, mode value, how we can replace with nan value, nan category, or how we can use forward filling or backward filling. Okay, so these are the ways you can fill the missing values. There are some other ways also, like interpolation. Interpolation means based on some surrounding points. Let me show it to you in this data set. Just let me paste it. See here, the data set is about day and temperature. 7 days and temperature on each day. Here you can see there is a nan value. Okay. Now if I run it, here in this line, I am filling the nan values by interpolation method. Here method equal to linear. Linear means that linear relationship will be taken for filling up the values. It will fill the values using the surrounding point. So here see np.nan, the third one is filled up with 22.525. Okay, so its surrounding points are 21.5, 23. So if you calculate these two values, you will get 22.25. Here the surrounding point is 24.0 and 25.0. So if you calculate 24 plus 25, 29, 49. So it will be 24.50. Fine. Okay, so interpolation is done by the surrounding data points. You have to use the interpolate method, and here the method is linear. Linear regression, when we will study, we will understand this is nothing, just a linear straight line relationship. Okay, this is mainly used while doing time series analysis. In fact, forward fill and backward fill also mainly used when you are working with time series dataset. Because in those scenario, the previous value or the very next value matters a lot. So those time you have to use forward fill or backward fill. So depending on which type of data set you have and what you want to do with the data set, you will decide by which method you are going to fill your missing values. Clear? Now one more method, that is model based imputation. This one I will not tell you right now. Whenever we will learn modeling, that time we will understand how to do any model based imputation. Depending on which model you are using, machine learning models predict and fill the missing values based on other features of the dataset. Okay. So the last one is KNN imputation. This one also we will discuss later. Okay. So you have a fair idea about how to find any missing value, how to replace them or how to delete them. Okay. So we will meet in our next class. Till then, bye. Happy learning.